Volume 8, Chapter 1, November 6th, AD 2095, Yotsuba Main House, Reception Room, a rather large building done in the style of a traditional samurai residence. That is the impression of the Yotsuba Main House as seen from outside the gate. Compared to a typical residence, it is certainly spacious. Even calling it a mansion does not feel like a misnomer. However, someone who looked at the grand mansions of those like the Segasa family and Ikija family would probably be rather surprised by its simple snug appearance. The Yotsuba do not care about the spaciousness of their house, because the Yotsuba family, who maintain a systematic policy of secrecy, would never invite a large number of outsiders as guests. Perhaps they think a grand mansion would only be an encumbrance. Without regard to the fact that her mother had been a member of the main family, Muki mused over the matter from an outsider's perspective, as she and her brother stepped through the overpowering structure of the gate together. That day, the day that would come to be known in the future as the Scorched Halloween, was only 1 week ago. The siblings had brought themselves to the mountain village that was not recorded on any map by foot, in accordance with their aunt's invitation, which should rather be called a summons to appear before her. Despite what could be hypothesized from the outside structure, it was a modern and quite expansive reception room that they were ushered into and informed that they were to wait in. This was not a small reception room used for privacy. This was a large room that could be classified as an audience chamber, which let them know that today's summons was not a personal one from their aunt, but from the master of Yotsuba family. Well, we had discerned that from the beginning, thought Miki. Nevertheless, 3 years had passed since I have been summoned to this room with my brother. Until now, for one pretext or another, her brother had been excluded on the occasions when the family came together as one to celebrate or share condolences, and their aunt never had direct contact with him. However, it has been 3 years since he accompanied me, nay, since my brother has been nearby while I had contact with her. Of course, Muki could not determine whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. Don't worry, we are not the same. As 3 years ago, her uneasiness had apparently shown on her face. Muki tilted her eyes upward to find Tetsuya nodding reassuringly in her line of sight as she peeked at him. Next to the sofa Muki was sitting on, he stood. 3 years ago, he had the same posture. 3 years ago, he had stood behind Muki. Yes, compared to 3 years ago, it had changed. Tatsuya was probably talking about how their abilities had changed from 3 years ago. Unquestionably, in terms of the power the two of them had, there could be no comparison to 3 years ago, especially in regards to Tatsuya. He had attained combat power that rivaled that of their aunt, Yotsuba Maya, famed as one of the world's strongest magicians, known as the Mu of the Far East and the Queen of Night. If you examine their magic affinities in detail, it would be readily apparent that in a one-on-one confrontation Tatsuya would win. However, more than their relationship with their aunt, in terms of abilities, had changed from what it was 3 years ago, Muki thought, such as the relationship between her brother and herself, and the feelings she herself directed towards her brother. The mind of Muki, who was sitting on the sofa with perfectly correct posture, drifted to that time 3 years ago.